Well, it's the big night. Sydney Wicker comes on Wicker Wednesday. We do have the first round of the NBA draft on this Wednesday night, and it, of course, is going to have some Baylor flavor once again. It's becoming an annual tradition, man. Trust me, that wasn't always the case, not even all that long ago. But now all kinds of Baylor flavor every year, and this year, of course, Sydney is VJ Edgecombe. I mean, how exciting a night is this? You're probably going to hear, almost certainly going to hear his name called in the top 5.
Oh, it's so awesome. It's kind of cool too, just covering him all season long. Like I always say when I cover like my high school kids, like you just like form such a relationship with them, following them and their playoff runs, and then they go win a state championship and you're like so happy for them. And covering a guy like VJ this season was so special. Every time he did a cool dunk or had just a sick 3, you were like, this kid is special. And my favorite thing to do after watching him just shoot any kind of shot was immediately pan to the crowd and see what kind of reaction they had, because it was always like, yeah, or like, oh my God, how did he do that? He has been such a special talent to watch all year, and to watch his dreams come true tonight. Oh, it's so special. You love it for him.
Dude, I had one of those moments this weekend. Chase Shores, who got the final out for LSU in the College World Series. I did a little feature on him when he was in high school, when I was out in the Midland, Odessa area. So I was like, that's
so cool.
My guy, 2-time national champion now. I told you guys about him, just the general YouTube public. But it's not just us bragging about VJ Edgecombe. Of course, we saw him play basically every game. But the people that really analyze this kind of stuff, they really like VJ Edgecombe as well. Jay Billis with a heck of a comparison.
But athletically, he may be the best overall athlete in this draft, from speed, agility, vertical leap. He's a high flyer. And, I think he compares favorably to me. And I want to be careful with this because people think I'm talking about them as pros, but I'm talking about them as 19-year-olds. He compares favorably to me to a 19-year-old Victor Oladipo or a 19-year-old Dwyane Wade.
Whoa. I've heard of those guys.
Me too. Big praise.
Pretty big. Do you remember 19-year-old Dwyane Wade? Remember how cool that was?
I can't say I remember it off the top of my head, but I like the comparison, and the compliment sounds great.
Yeah, I hope it turns out the same. Dwyane Wade did play 2 more years of college. Victor Oladipo didn't, and VJ Edgecombe will not. But I'm hoping that is the kind of praise. And it does seem like it's that athleticism, right? That's just jumping off the page. Sydney, I want to turn a question to you that I got from Pete Souza on the Pete Souza show about VJ. Because I had a very, the one word popped to my head right away. So I want to do this Rorschach test kind of thing on you. Anybody who drafts VJ Edgecombe is getting blank.
Star.
It's a good way to put it.
A total star. I was going to say, if you give me 2 words, highlight reel.
Oh, well, yeah. I said human highlight reel. That's what I said.
Yeah.
I said SportsCenter top 10. That's what
every week. Yeah. You're going to get something amazing. Jaw dropping, you're going to get something fun. And he just brings it so naturally. I think that's almost the frustrating thing about watching him is he's just so easy when he plays. He's just so calm, cool, and collected. And I want to go shoot hoops after I watch VJ play. And I'm like, God, this is really hard. I can't make a 3 to save my life. Granted, I'm only 5'2", but he just makes it look so natural. And anybody who ends up with him, they're having a difference maker on their team.
And when it comes to the NBA draft too, it's they were obviously done very well. Like I've said, they've had guys in the top 10, and I'm not bashing this by any means, but just the way we see this or the way NBA fans see this, unless you're picked in the top 3, people don't really remember. Right? Those who turn out to be good, of course, those get remembered. But nobody remembers the bust who was pick number 7. Nobody remembers Ben McLemore. Okay, nobody's going to Kansas because Ben McLemore went there. They're going there because Joel Embiid went there and Wilt Chamberlain went there. So when you look at Baylor and their rise and having these guys who've been in the top 10, Davion Mitchell was in the top 10, Jeremy Sohan was in the top 10. That's great. But Sydney, to have someone who could go number 3 overall. like VJ Edgecombe, maybe number 4 and be the highest drafted Baylor Bear of all time. Epe Udoh is number 6 overall in 2010. Like that is a different level, right? Like that could once again, we said this a lot the last few years, that could once again bring even more eyeballs towards this program, even after a down year.
Absolutely. I mean, Scott Drew loves to remind us how many NBA
Yes,
draft
yes.
picks that they have. And when you were talking about that in the beginning, I was like, okay, Scott
I was
Drew,
trying to
I
think,
hear you.
what is it like? The only one with the top 22 pick in the last 6 years. Or Scott loves Scott, but Scott loves like
loves.
cherry picking some stats. He loves that thing, man. So yeah, this is just another one to add to the arsenal a little bit.
Oh, yeah. But like you said, so huge for Baylor. I don't think anybody has thought recently that Baylor isn't a top tier program in basketball recently just because of the success that they've had. And I mean, you won a national championship in 21, was it right? Like,
Yep.
wasn't that long ago. So that stays in people's mind, I think, for a while. But this is another good reminder. Like, Baylor produces great talent. This kid, VJ, could have gone somewhere, honestly, probably out of high school, maybe not this high, but like just knowing from the Bahamas when he came, he didn't have to come to Baylor, but he did. And the Scott Drew system is something he wanted to be a part of. And we saw that want from him. I always thought he had so much great poise because sometimes it was like when they were losing those games where you're questionable, he was always the most frustrated. And he took that personally. This kid wants to win, and he showed that. And so I think he speaks volumes about what the Baylor program is, and I think that can trickle down and carry really far for the future of this program as well.
And by the way, he picked Baylor over 2 programs where you can list like 10 NBA All-Stars each from those schools. He picked them over Duke and Kentucky. So last thing on VJ, because I found it very fascinating to watch him throughout this last year, because I think a lot of people saw it and thought, this kid's not top 5 material. You know, he wasn't putting up 25 a game. He was a freshman playing in the Big 12, but he did a lot of different things at different times of the year. Was there anything that stood out to you in covering these games that you're like, man, VJ's really grown in this, or I could see VJ doing this in the NBA? Was there anything like that when you were watching?
I think a game that I always think back on is his 30-point performance that he had. Like, that was just like such a huge one and at such a critical time too. So I think when answers need to be made, he finds a way to answer. And I think that's just something I won't forget about watching him, is that he loves this game. And it loves him back a lot of times too. But
Wow.
I think there's something so special about him and the way that he's able to take matters into his own hands, especially when his back's against the wall or he needs to carry his team a little bit. And he's so young. To have that kind of leadership is huge.
He's going to have one hell of a highlight tape after year 1 with those regular season defenses, man. Oh, that is going to be something. The kid's going to have some space. I don't know what his shooting percentage is going to be, but he's going to have some space. And I'm interested to see. I think he can be a really elite defender at the NBA level. That's what I'm looking forward to about VJ Edgecombe. But we'll see where he goes. Top 5, probably, which means he will become the highest draft pick in Baylor basketball history. VJ Edgecombe,